In the spotlight today is Brian Daugherty from Portsmouth, a maths researcher. His specialist subject is the history of Wales since 1800. Peter Langan from Cheshire, retired, taking the history of Le Mans. David Cowan from Swansea, a systems engineer, and his subject is the life and films of the Marx Brothers. And Dorothy Walker from Tottington near Bury, a retired secretary, offering the Lord Peter Wimsey novels of Dorothy L. Sayers. Hello, I'm Clive Anderson. Welcome to round 2 of Discovery Mastermind. 1 black chair, 2 rounds of challenging questions and 4 contenders, each waiting to battle it out for a place in the next round and a step even closer to becoming the first ever Discovery Mastermind champion. Each contender will be quizzed on his or her chosen specialist subject in round 1 and on general knowledge in round 2. The 2 highest scoring contenders progressing to our 3rd round. And Sky viewers at home, you can press the red button on your remote control now to lodge your vote for our brainiest contender. And in round 2, there's the chance to play along to test your own general knowledge. Well, the black chair awaits, so may I have our first contender, please? So, your name, please.
Brian Daugherty.
And your occupation?
Mathematics researcher.
And your specialist subject?
History of Wales since 1800.
OK, Brian Daugherty, your time on the history of Wales since 1800 starts now. At the 1974 general election, which future leader of Plaid Cymru first entered Parliament when he defeated Gronwy Roberts in the Carnarvon constituency?
David Wigley.
Correct. In which Denbighshire mining village did an underground explosion kill 265 miners on September the 22nd, 1934?
Gresford.
Correct. Which explorer was born in Denby on January the 28th, 1834, the illegitimate son of Elizabeth Parry and John Rowlands?
Henry Stanley.
Correct. In which year did the Wales Bill receive its royal assent, thereby giving rise to the prospect of a self-governing Welsh Assembly, only for it to be rejected in a referendum the following year?
1978.
Correct. On May the 27th, 1982, the Prince of Wales's company and the No. 3 company of the Welsh Guards suffered heavy casualties when the Sir Galahad was bombed in which Falklands Inlet?
Bluff Cove.
Correct. Who in 1922 founded the Welsh League of Youth, known popularly in Wales as Ar Irith?
Pass.
Which son of a tenant farmer from Bala was elected MP for Merioneth in 1886, was to become Liberal Chief Whip in 1894?
Tom Ellis.
Correct. Which Scottish lawyer, who sat for a Liverpool constituency, was appointed the First Minister for Welsh Affairs by Churchill?
David Maxwell Fyfe.
Correct. Who in 1896 was nominated as the first Chancellor of University... All right, I've started so I can take my time on this. Who in 1896 was nominated as the first Chancellor of the University of Wales, but died before he could be installed?
I think I'll have to pass on that, I think.
OK, we'll tell that to pass. Quite a tricky question, that, but that leaves your score at the end of this first round 7 points with 2 passes. So the ones you passed on, who in 1922 founded the Welsh League of Youth, popularly known as Ar Irith? That was Ifan Ab Owen Edwards. He had most of the Welsh names there in his full name. Who in 1896 was nominated as the first Chancellor of the University of Wales but died before he could be installed? Well, that was Lord Aberdare. So you'll be forgiven for not knowing that, but thank you very much, Brian Daugherty. OK, and on to our next contender, please. Your name, please.
Peter Langan.
And your occupation?
Retired company director.
And your specialist subject?
The history of the Le Mans 24-hour race.
OK, Peter Langan, your time in the history of Le Mans starts now. What is the official name of the Le Mans circuit, reflecting the district of France in which it is situated?
The Grand Prix d'Urance de l'Ouest.
No, still a start. In which year was the Le Mans 24-hour race first held, the winners being André Lagache and René Lénard at an average speed of 57 miles per hour?
1923.
Correct. Which motor company financed many of the improvements made to the Le Mans circuit as a result of the disastrous 1955 crash in which more than 80 spectators died?
Mercedes.
No, Ford. In 2000, which 6 times winner of the race was voted Le Mans Driver of the Century and made an honorary citizen of Le Mans?
Jackie Hicks.
Correct. When André Lagache and René Lénard won the first Le Mans 24 hours, which make of car were they driving?
Chenard A. Walker.
Correct. Which make of car has won the race in 2000 and 2001, their only successes to date?
Audi.
Correct. Which European country imposed and has maintained a ban on motor racing ever since the disastrous 1955 crash?
Switzerland.
Correct. Which British driver with wins in 1975, 81, 82, 86 and 87 is second only to Jackie Hicks on the all-time winners list?
Derek Bell.
Correct. In the disastrous 1955 race, who was Sterling Moss's co-driver in the Mercedes, withdrawn during the race along with their teammates on orders, I've started so I'll finish, although they weren't allowed to finish, on orders from Germany?
Fangio.
Correct. All right. Seem to be obsessed with that crash in 1955. Must have been a bad one. Anyway, at the end of that round, you've scored 7 points and no passes. Well done. So, our third contender, please. Your name, please,
David Cowan,
and your occupation,
systems engineer,
and your specialist subject.
The life and films of the Marx Brothers.
All right, David Cowan, your time on the life and films of the Marx Brothers. Time starts now. Who said after first appearing with the Marx Brothers in the stage production of The Coconuts in 1925, after 3 weeks of acting with them, I nearly had a nervous breakdown?
Margaret Dumont.
Correct. What was the name of the character played by Lillian Roth in the 1930 film Animal Crackers?
Pass.
In which film does Groucho almost defeat Chico in an idiotic battle of wits over the password to a speakeasy, at the end of which they both end up outside?
Horse feathers.
Correct. Which film contains the mirror image game in which Harpo pretends to be Groucho and the latter, instead of reaching out to see if there's a mirror between them, tries to catch Harpo out by variations in his movements and gestures?
Duck Soup.
Correct. Coincidentally, how old were both Chico and Harpo Marx when they both died of heart-related problems?
87.
No, 75. What was the name of the police detective played by Robert Emmett O'Connor in A Night at the Opera?
Pass.
Which 1938 film did scenarist Maury Riseland note that 90% of the story was taken up with Groucho's stalling tactics to avoid being evicted from his hotel room?
Room service.
Correct. Who directed the 1935 Marx Brothers film A Night at the Opera?
Edward Buzzell.
No, Sam Wood. What was the name of the outspoken 19-year-old who Chico, or Leonard Marx, married in 1916?
Betty Carp.
Correct. What is the name of the department store in the 1941 Marx Brothers film The Big Store?
Phelps.
Correct. I've just started, so you get time to think about this one. 3 writers were credited with the screenplay for the film Horse Feathers. S.J. Perelman and Harry Ruby were 2, but who was the 3rd?
Bert Kalmar.
That's correct, and that brings your score to 7 points and 2 passes. The name of the character played by Lillian Roth in the 1930 film Animal Crackers was Arabella Rittenhouse, yes, which you obviously know now. Yeah. And the name of the police detective played by Robert Emmett O'Connor in The Night of the Opera, has that come back to you now?
No, that wasn't.
Well, it's Detective Henderson.
Yeah.
So anyway, good score. Thank you very much, David Cowan. And our final contender this round, please. Your name, please.
Dorothy Walker.
Your occupation.
Retired secretary.
And your specialist subject.
The Lord Peter Wimsey novels of Dorothy L. Sayers.
All right, so Dorothy Walker, your time on the Lord Peter Wimsey novels of Dorothy L. Sayers. Your time starts now. What was the name of Lord Peter Wimsey's uncle who wrote an addendum at the end of Gaudy Night?
Paul Daugherty.
Correct. In Murder Must Advertise, what was the name of the character who fell to his death on the stairs of Pym's advertising agency?
Dean.
Correct. Which novel, the last to feature Lord Peter Wimsey, did Dorothy L. Sayers leave uncompleted, Jill Patton Walsh finishing it in 1998?
Pass.
In Strong Poison, what name did Harriet Vane use when she purchased arsenic from Mr. Brown's chemist shop?
Pass.
In Gaudy Night, Lord Peter courts Harriet by serenading her with suggestive Elizabethan love songs accompanied by what musical instrument?
A harpsichord.
No, it's a spinet. To have his carcass, what book was Harriet Vane reading when she fell asleep on the beach, waking up to find a body?
Tristram Shandy.
Correct. In The Five Red Herrings, what was Gilda Farron doing when Lord Peter was asking her about her missing husband who had had an argument with the murder victim?
Spinning.
Spinning wool, yes. In The Nine Tailors, what was the name of the guest whose emeralds were stolen at the wedding of Henry Thorpe in spring 1914?
Miss Wilberforce.
Not quite, Mrs. Wilbraham. In whose body, what is the colour scheme for the library of Lord Peter's bachelor flat?
Red and gold.
No, black and primrose. What is the name of the murderous doctor who, by shooting himself in the library... I'll start it off, finish. What was the name of the murderous doctor who, by shooting himself in the library, ended the unpleasantness at the Bologna Club?
Penberthy.
That's it, Walter Penberthy. So that's a correct answer. Brings your score to 5 points and 2 passes at the end of this round. The novel, which was the last to feature Lord Peter Wimsey, which Dorothy L. says left uncompleted, Jill Patton Walsh finishing it in 1998, was Thrones and Dominations. All right. It's irritating when it comes back to you. It's too late, isn't it? In Strong Poison, what name did Harriet Vane use when she purchased arsenic from Mr. Brown's chemist shop? Of detailed knowledge sought there, but it was Mary Slater.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dorothy Walker. Well, pretty tight first round, but let's take a look at the scores. In 4th place is Dorothy Walker, who's got 5 points and 2 passes. And there's a tie on 2nd. There's Brian Daugherty. He's got 7 points and 2 passes, as has David Cowan, who's got the same 7 points and 2 passes. And only just in the lead at this stage is Peter Langan, who's also got 7 points, but no passes. So it's all to play for, as I think the expression has it, in the next round, which is general knowledge, but that comes after this break. See you then.
Haven't seen him recently.
You can take a Memphis man.
Music make Memphis.
You can take him out of this life.
I don't think he planned it, but it kind of worked out for him.
But you cannot take the life
There's a lot of soul in this city.
out of the king.
It's like walking on sacred ground.
Elvis Lives. New Year's Day from 1 on Discovery.
Nigel has just been asked a question which could win him and his friends £25,000. If he gets the answer right, they're all going on a fantastic beach holiday together. If he gets it wrong, he's home alone. This is Nigel's once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Don't blow it, Nige. Stakeout, weekdays on Challenge TV.
Are you over 50 and you'd like to gain access to your pension funds? Perhaps you have an existing pension that you're not already taking. Regal Partners can help you release these pensions, giving you access to a tax-free lump sum and/or pension before you retire. So, if you thought your pension was locked away until you retire, it's time to call Regal Partners. Call 08000 717 717 for a brochure on how Regal Partners could hold the key to releasing your locked pension. 08000 717 717.
amazing digital music and video with the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world.
The future's orange.
Cordula roller shutters are the sophisticated answer to your security and insulation problems, whether fully automatic, electric motor or manually operated. Phone 0800 018 3399 for your free Cordula brochure now. Cordula remote control garage doors are the ultimate answer if you're leaving or returning to your home. They also provide excellent security. All Cordula products are designed with both reliability and affordability in mind. Phone 0800 018 3399 for your free Cordula brochure now. That's 0800 018 3399.
She was born on Wednesday, April the 10th, 1912. She was beautiful, iconic, but lived only 4 days. Since then, people have fought over her, been moved by the memories she evokes, and spent years musing over just how this once formidable beauty came to sink. Titanic, behold her in 2 Discovery Christmas matinees, Friday from 1.
Well, welcome back to Discovery Mastermind. In our first round, our contenders played their chosen specialist subjects, and the scores are very close. But fortunes can change in our second round, the general knowledge. Now, if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes will be taken into consideration, and the contender with the fewer or fewest passes will be declared the winner. If there's still a tie on points and passes, then there'll be a 5-question playoff. And remember, Sky viewers at home can press their red button and play along interactively. But let's get on with the general knowledge round, and here we take the contenders in the ascending order of their first round scores. So may I have Dorothy Walker again, please. Let's start your general knowledge, the time starts now. Which fruit is used in the manufacture of the drink Perry?
Pears.
Correct. Which narrow strait separates the Persian Gulf from the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea?
Pass.
The 1989 album Songs for Drella, written by Velvet Underground and members Lou Reed and John Cale, was a tribute to which artist the group had collaborated with in the mid-60s?
Andy Warhol.
Correct. The theme of which TV miniseries starring Paul McGann as Percy Topless was a mutiny of British soldiers during the World War I?
Monocle Mutineer.
Correct. What nickname was given to Richard Neville, 1st Earl of Warwick, in reference to his role as arbiter of royal power during the first half of the Wars of the Roses?
Kingmaker.
Correct. Who was heir to a flour and milling fortune whose companies once owned more than half of the British film studios and over 1,000 cinemas?
J. Arthur Wright.
Correct. Who in 1990 became the Republic of Ireland's first woman head of state?
Mary Robinson.
Correct. About which 1972 disaster movie did the New York Times write, "The script is the only cataclysm in this waterlogged Grand Hotel"?
Poseidon Adventure.
Correct. Who won his first Grand Slam title when he beat Pete Sampras in straight sets in the final of the 2001 US Open? I've started, so you can take time to finish.
Pat Cash.
Pat Cash, no. I'm not 2001, I don't think.
No,
Leighton Hewitt. But anyway, you've scored 12 points, and I've got one pass to tell you about now. The narrow strait which separates the Persian Gulf from the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea, that's the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorothy Walker. So we'll go on to Brian Daugherty. All right, well, you've got the general knowledge questions to get through. Your time for which starts now. The analgesic N-acetyl salicylic acid is more commonly known as what?
Aspirin.
Correct. Giles Winterbourne is the principal character of which Thomas Hardy novel?
Far from Madding Crowd.
No, The Woodlanders. Sharon Tate, murdered in 1969 by Charles Manson and his family, was the actress wife of which film director?
Roman Polanski.
Correct. At which battle in 1689 did Viscount Dundee and his Highlanders inflict a defeat on the government troops under General Hugh Mackay?
Killiecrankie.
Correct. The Egyptian Mao is a breed of which domestic animal?
Cat.
Correct. On which American Championship golf course is there a group of 3 holes known as Amen Corner?
Augusta.
Correct. Which notorious Australian bushranger was hanged at Melbourne Jail on November the 11th, 1880?
Ned Kelly.
Correct. Alto, soprano, tenor, baritone and bass are all types of which instrument?
Bassoon.
No, saxophone. What name is given to a ridge on a mountain which separates 2 corries?
Pass.
In yoga, what name is given to the position where a person sits cross-legged with their feet on their thighs and their arms resting on their knees?
Lotus position.
That is the lotus position. Thank you very much. Your score has gone on to 14 points with just the 1 pass. You gave the impression of guessing on a lot of those there, but they all came off pretty well. The one you passed on, what name is given to a ridge on a mountain which separates 2 corries? It's a shame it wasn't a gap, because then pass would have been the correct answer, but it's an arête. So I don't know if perhaps you don't have arêtes on your way up Snowdon, you just keep going. But anyway, thank you very much, Brian Daugherty. So we go on to David Cowan. All right, general knowledge questions, time for which starts now. What 4-digit number would you dial on your telephone to see if the number of your last caller had been logged?
1471.
Correct. Which city has 2 football league clubs nicknamed the Owls and the Blades?
Sheffield.
Correct. In physics, what name is given to a particle emitted by a radioactive nucleus consisting of 2 tightly bound protons and neutrons?
An alpha particle.
Correct. Which Russian composed the music for the opera Love for 3 Oranges?
Mussorgsky.
No, Prokofiev. Who, since 1946, has sent a weekly radio letter from America?
Alistair Cook.
Correct. Which elderly admiral was Nelson's command at the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801?
Pass.
Which famous actress did Sir Joshua Reynolds paint as the tragic muse?
Sarah Bernhardt.
No, Sarah Siddons. In Sheridan's The Rivals, which character, famous for a misuse of the English language, is Lydia Languish's aunt and guardian?
Mrs. Malaprop.
Correct. The city of Denver, Colorado, stands at which height in feet above sea level?
5,900 and something.
It's 5,280, I'm afraid. Invading communist forces captured which capital city on June the 20th, 1950?
Seoul.
Correct. Which head of state married his longtime companion, Grace Machel, widow of the former president of Mozambique, on his 80th birthday in 1998?
Nelson Mandela.
Correct. Which public school... I've started, so I've finished. Which public school moved from the City of London to Godalming in Surrey in 1872?
Charterhouse.
That's correct. And a rather lucky break, one of those questions for you there, but that end of that round brings you to 15 points with just 1 pass to tell you about now. The elderly admiral was Nelson's commander at the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801, was Sir Hyde Parker.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, David Cowan. And we come to Peter Langham. History of Le Mans racing is a specialist subject. Do you drive fast cars yourself?
I did in the past.
Yeah.
Rather more sedately these days.
Well, all right. Well, it stood you in good stead in your specialist subject round, but your general knowledge starts now. What name is given to a stag with 12 or more points on its antlers?
Buck.
Pass?
A buck.
Oh, no, a royal. Later made Earl of Ypres, who was the commander of the British Expeditionary Force sent to France at the start of World War I?
Pass.
Which former politician's father at one time had a business manufacturing garden gnomes?
Margaret Thatcher.
No, John Major. In the TV series The Prisoner, which bicycle was the symbol of the village?
Sorry,
What sort of bicycle was the symbol of the village in the TV series?
Penny farthing.
Penny farthing, correct. German alchemist Theophrastus Bombast von Hohenheim, who lived from 1493 to 1541, and who established the role of chemistry and medicine, is better known by what name?
Pass.
What rich range of hills runs approximately northwest from near Taunton to the Bristol Channel?
Mendix.
No, the Quantocks. In which game must the ball weigh between 2.40 and 2.53 grams, or 0.085 to 0.089 ounces?
Golf.
No, table tennis. The events of which novel are told in the letters of the heroine and Lovelace, written to... I've started, so I'll finish. The events of which novel are told in the letters of the heroine and Lovelace, written to Anna Howe and John Belford, respectively?
Kidnapped.
No, that's Clarissa. What turned out a rather difficult general knowledge round for you ends there. You've got 8 points, and I've got 2 passes to tell you about. This German alchemist, who you expect to know about, who is Theophrastus Bombast von Hohenheim, who lived in the 15th and 16th century and established the role of chemistry and medicine. Well, his friends apparently used to know him as Paracelsus. And the Earl of Ypres, who was the commander of the British Expeditionary Force sent to France at the start of World War I, that was Sir John French. So, thank you very much. Peter Langen. Well, fortunes did rather change in that second round, but let's look at the scoreboard. We see that Peter Langen has gone down to 4th place with 8 points and 2 passes. In 3rd place is Dorothy Walker, who's got 12 points, 3 passes. In 2nd place is Brian Daugherty with 14 points and 3 passes. But winning is David Cowan, who got 15 points and 3 passes. Well, as I explained earlier, the 2 highest scoring contestants go through to the next round. So we'll be seeing Brian Daugherty and David Cowan again in the future. Congratulations to them both. Hard luck to the other 2. Please join us soon for more Discovery Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Coming up next today, like parents nervously watching